and the man for the job is Governor Mitt Romney.
Well, let's bring in NBC's Tom Brokaw, of course, and David Gregory, who are together right there in the convention hall. Gentlemen, I want to start with Tom. Who impressed you tonight, surprised you, if you will?
Well, I think what we did was see the outlines of a big part of this debate that will be coming in the fall. You know, very often the best defense is a great offense. And when Paul Ryan went on the offense in defending not just their version of Obamacare, of Medicare, but blaming Medicare losses downstream on the Obama administration, and he came back to that repeatedly. My guess is that we'll hear more about that tomorrow night from President Romney. I was also, from presidential candidate Romney. I was also struck, Chris, by the fact that Paul Ryan talked about not needing a government to direct our lives, but he is a man, as I know that you've all referred to this, who did vote for the auto bailout. He did vote for TARP. He did vote as well for both wars that were not funded, and he voted for Part D of Medicare. And he spent his entire life in government. And tomorrow night, Governor Romney will come here and talk about bringing a new presidential ethos to the Oval Office that is based on his business experience, on his private sector experience. And the man who lit up this room tonight has spent his entire adult life in government.
Yeah, interesting. David.
Well, I have a couple of points. I'll pick up on what Tom said. There is a kind of ideological amnesia here on the part of Paul Ryan. He represents this new generation, a new strain of the Republican Party, which at its core is about fiscal rectitude and responsibility, and yet he did not stand up to the Bush administration on two wars, on major areas of entitlements, as Tom suggested, on the prescription drug benefit. All of those conservatives who thought the Bush administration was responsible for profligate spending, this was not somebody who stood up against that. And yet there's no mention of that. There's no mention of where they have come from as a party to get to this new place. And it's also very clear that they don't want to really still be associated with President Bush on national security. They can put Condoleezza Rice out front, but not talk about Iraq or Afghanistan. They can even have her make the point, take the shot at the president about leading from behind when they don't really want to reckon with unfinished business in Afghanistan and Iraq. So I think these are the parts that will be picked apart by people who do not like this Republican ticket, and maybe even those who are, more middle of the road, who will see some deficiencies here. But I'd add one other point, Chris. What I do think was effective was this line of argument of, hey, what's going to change? If you think the economy is bad and you're out of work and you don't believe in this president's leadership, well, what's going to change?